Good afternoon, everybody. This is Darren Benton with Performance Motor Coaches. I want to do a quick video before we drop this coach off. This is a sold 2026 Renegade Classic. This is a CMR. So a few different ways you could do this floor plan. We seem to kind of build the same floor plan, the same options and amenities in the CMR, but obviously you can do all kinds of different things. You can do white, you can do paint, do custom paint, you can do different chassis. So this coach started as a just a stock coach, and then we sold it right before it got finished with production. This customer is going to upgrade from Explorer up to this Classic. Happy to have a repeat buyer, customer that is comfortable purchasing from us and then going into a little bit larger chassis itself. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. I said this is a 2026 Renegade Classic CMR. It's basically, they call it a 45 CMR. It's a little bit less than 45 foot overall. It is on the Cascadia 126. Well, it's a longer hood Cascadia. It's a 600 horse Detroit. It is mated to the 12-speed Detroit transmission. Very fun truck to drive. A lot of adaptive, so it has adaptive cruise. They call it a Detroit assurance package. So adaptive cruise, crash mitigation. If Sean Lee was driving this coach and I wanted to freak her out, I can jump in front of it and it will actually stop the coach. So lots of safety features, very integrated as well. A lot of the trucks that have this feels like you added them after the fact, so not nearly as integrated. This coach does have blind spot monitoring, which is a nice feature to have. We generally don't order our coaches with any kind of hood mirrors. Between that mirror there, and then the blind spot monitoring gives you a good idea if you have a car sitting here. So just preference. We can obviously always add the hood mirrors to them. But we kind of picked just a deep silver on this. You know me, I drive a solid color car, so I don't need a lot of colors on my coach. I generally try to pick colors that are going to be easier to keep clean, things that won't get really hot as well. It's 68 degrees here today. There's still a ton of snow, well, far away. There's still a fair amount of snow up here, so even on the days that are in the 60s, if this was black, this coach would be hot. You'd have to run the air conditioner. In fact, we ran it just because we were doing some work in it earlier, so keep in mind, darker colors are difficult to keep cool in the summertime. So it does have the bunk over. We did the dual Girards up top. So standard would be a single Girard awning. We go ahead and add the second Girard Vision rooftop awning, and then we do the fake profiles over there. So aesthetically, it all looks the same. We have some additional clearance lights. We did bigger windows. We'll kind of go through and talk about some of the things that we did. We upgraded the Aqua-Hot from the 450 to the 600. So a few more BTUs. It does have a additional heating loop for your wet bay, so it'll have lots of wet bay protection come the winter time. So you do have two additional heat registers, or two heat registers in your wet bay, and it doesn't piggyback off. So we feel like probably necessarily not needed as far as the BTUs, but my hopes is that we get a little bit better components with the 600 versus the 450. The 450 seemed so standardized, and I'm hoping the last time we broke into a 600, it had more of the German Webasto boiler parts versus some of the Chinese stuff. So take that for what it's worth. Outdoor TV, it's locked. It's locked. Sean Lee's locked. 43-inch TV, it does come out and it does tilt. Just did the black baggage handles. You could do the stainless or the black. This customer's going to keep everything. It's kind of back and forth flip-flop on doing a complete blackout package. I think it's a fair amount of polish kind of coupled with the silver, so it's a good looking unit. If he changes his mind and we want to do, and he wants to do a blackout, we'll try to do an updated video of it. So we do have additional clearance lights right here, clearance and turn signal. We have some additional lights on the side and the rear of the coach. 3/4 pass-through, so that's an option. Of course, lining the baggage compartment is an option as well. We do the central vac, that's a standard feature. We generally add a 110 outlet in all the compartments that don't normally have one, so it's nice to have those. Should be in the very back with the underneath there. It's kind of a pain to get to, but it's there. So you kind of notice the Classics. They have a no rear fiberglass cap, so just a little bit different look, a little bit more classic look to them. I like the lack of trim. I like the lack of vertical pieces integrated on the sideboard. Do have the Gen Y hitch. This is a 40,000 pound hitch. The way that it's set up is 32,000. We do Go ahead and do the hitch cam right here. So if you're backing up to a trailer, you can spot right on. It does have the additional clearance lights, the vertical lights, and then an extra set of tail lights there. Short cord is standard, a little 50 amp buddy plug, and then we also option in a 110 plug there on the right hand side. Always make sure that thing is nice and tight. Smart transfer switch, it'll let you know your amp draw and your voltage on each power leg coming in. 1250 N is standard. Stinky Slinky right here, that's standard, but like I said, we upgraded this light right here. Very nice job in the wet bay. So they do the sea level monitoring there. You have automatic tank valves standard, so lots of cool features within that are standard. Like I said, we do have a hydronic register here, and then also over there with our gray and our black, this does have the optional macerator pump, like a flow jet macerator pump. We can always add those things after the fact at the dealership, so it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But everything's nice and easy to use, very clean as well. We generally provide a hot water feed to this bay right here, so if you want a hot water shower, it's something we could do later at the dealership. Not a big fan of the way that cord's run. I'll make notes for the guys here. I don't know if they want to jump rope with this, so we'll get that cleaned up. That's your automatic gate valves, but it's just not as clean as what I would like it. We'll get that all addressed when we send it back home. 2 lithium batteries are standard. We go ahead and upgrade the batteries to do 4, kind of the maximum number of batteries you can fit on this coach inside. There are other manufacturers of lithiums that has a little bit smaller footprint, gives you some more amp hours. This is basically Battleborn / Dragonfly. Very easy company to deal with. We've had great luck with them, so we prefer using those. And they're one of the few lithium batteries that are RVIA compliant. Dual lithiums there dual inverters on the left. Nice Victron. I think this coach has 5 panels up top, so 5 200-watt panels up top. You can always upgrade that as well. Is that a 50 amp? Nope, 100 amp controller. So do a fair amount. Chassis batteries there, and then we do have the quick disconnect to be able to air up a tire. It's limited about 120 psi, so probably couldn't get your tires all the way up, but it would get yourself out of a little bit of jam. You hear the def pump running? Get it into Freightliner, figure out what's going on there. I can just hear the def pump rolling right there. So basically it will reverse cycle. Something we normally hear when it's relatively cold, but not something we'd normally hear whenever it's warm like this. But it's a good idea to be able to, that's kind of what we pride ourselves on. Being here, going over the coaches, just another set of eyes. Renegade does a phenomenal job, but there's still things that just creep up. So keep that in mind whenever you're looking for a new motorhome. Diamond shield / clear bra is standard on all painted units from things like this. Fixed it. And so all this stuff gets removed whenever they paint it. Sometimes they don't get popped back on. It's something there again, just kind of know what to look at. Been doing it for a really long time. 120-gallon fuel tank below the cab. I had to do a little adjustment earlier. So I always like to show how open the coach is whenever the slides are in. I can meander through here. I can do some cooking. I can have a seat. I can plop this down to be able to sit as a passenger. Of course, I can get to a fridge, do all those things. I'm going to go ahead and turn the air conditioner off just so you can hear me a little bit better. But very nice, usable coach. So crazy inclement weather, if you had an ice storm or something like that, probably pull your slides in. Of course, if you're driving, you didn't want to have to run your slide outs out. Say if you pulled into a truck stop somewhere, just a quick meal, gives you the opportunity to be able to have a very usable coach. So I'll go ahead and roll the slide out for you guys. And so hydraulic slide over here on the left-hand side, integrated to the equalizer leveling system already on the coach. Just a relatively tight seal. There's nothing wrong with it, I can assure you. And then we do the, they've now run to a sure slide over here on the kitchen slide, gotten away from the Schwintek. So it does have a positive lock within it. It just doesn't rely solely on the motor. So it's a nice thing to have some additional rollers underneath. So like I said, obviously a lot more room. We have automatic window shades, standard for 2026. Starlink standard, so lots of cool features. Do you want them open or closed? So all the drawers, all the cabinets, do some additional cabinets through there. We do a wastebasket there. So many things we could do after the fact. If you said, hey Darren, you know, my wife has a certain mixer we want to be able to integrate in there, we can move things around. So lots of things either from the factory or something that we can accommodate there at the dealership. Nice little drawer right here that opens up. All the cutlery, prize family cutlery. But this, I can imagine this is my master junk drawer right here. I've got 2 layers of my junk drawer, but you know, cutlery as well. All Dovetail. Does come with a little touch-up. We got flies. We got, of course, we're in horse country out in Middlebury, so obviously flies every time it warms up. We generally will move the subwoofer out of the way. Sometimes we'll try to stick it back behind the theater seats. So this is a Rockport stain, which is obviously a more gray colored stain. 5 sheen is standard on all 26 and newer. Done a good job putting all these together. We put these little tables right here that would normally go in the couch or theater, just to keep them from banging around, banging the trim and such. So we'll put them in here for the transport back. So electrical still there. We've built this particular floor plan for a handful of customers in the past, where they wanted just like a coffee bar here, get rid of the pantry here, and then integrate the pantry back here. As a stock coach, we generally will leave this in place just because you lose a fair amount of storage. I do have the televator here. Of course, big giant picture windows. They started doing the opening quite a bit larger on 2026. So big opening, and then standard would be 2 windows on each side with a small little cabinet about this tall. We go ahead and do a full length cabinet just to be able to have a lot more space. This does roll back and forth, so nice to be able to have it push forward when you're driving or no one's up there. Do have an escape hatch above. Nice dash layout. They do the monitor overhead. Of course, we can do 2 monitors. We've done everything underneath the sun as far as accommodating more monitors. We've done some monitors right here. We'll take the CarPlay module and stick it over there. So lots of different things we could do here or there at the dealership. All Lambrite furniture. So what I like about the Lambrite, feels a little more comfortable than the Villa. This is good if you have dogs or maybe a kid that wanted to take and plop down here. In the Villa, you lose this. You have a little bit of room right here for your popcorn. You put your popcorn in there, and then maybe, you know, you put each individual remote control there. You only have one though. They're power head as well. People really like that. Just a little bit more comfort whenever you're kind of hanging out. Of course, they come with a step cover, the big step covers right here. Convertible booth dinette. This is all solid surface countertop. So that will push down, push it back up. And then anywhere you sit, sleep, eat, you'll have a USB and a USB-C within there. I like having the big giant picture windows there. You lose a little bit of storage, but I like being able to see straight out. So we'll kind of roll mid-coach here. As I mentioned earlier, Starlink standard. Those are our awning controls up there on the right-hand side. So if you have some issues in the Firefly, you can just do them on the controls themselves. So We do standard one coat hook right there, and then we add a secondary coat hook. They've done a little bit wider entry, a much more robust entry door for 26 as well. Stacked washer dryer. We've done everything underneath the sun there. So it's a little difficult to see. I'm going to bore you guys for one more second. Get these slide outs, and then we'll flip-flop around so you can kind of see. There's a lot of storage within this. It's a kind of a catch-22 because I like the openness of not having the cabinets here. But then this is your only source of storage. But we'll get it flip-flopped around. You'll see how much room you have there, which I think is a huge benefit. So I'll multitask, open this up. Of course, you can see lots of room for activities, all convertible shelving there. The top has a hanging rod. The bottom does not, but we could always add a hanging rod if you needed that down below. Of course, the washer dryer, little drawer underneath. All your Tide Pods fit right there. Don't need them. Don't need them. So we'll kind of walk through here, and then we'll hit the half bath if I don't forget it. So this is a king size bed. Hate to use the term because you have RV king. This is a 72-inch wide bed. Most of these coaches will have a 66-inch wide bed. So if you're like us, that dogs seem to jump up with you, snuggle you up, having the 72-inch wide bed helps. You can tell by the tapered nightstands here. Of course, we do have master controls over the head there, so you can drop all the lights, your generator, things like that. And then you do have light or your window shade controllers as well. I'll kind of drop here. Standard, one mirror is standard on pretty much every single floor plan set. But I think there's one XL that doesn't have that. So this is an option right here, doing the drawers. Of course, we do the cedar line closet, and then this guy will open up. So put on my crop tops right here because it's a little bit lower, or I just know that my clothes are going to fold over a little bit. But having these guys right here for the maximum amount of socks and underwear, I think is definitely a bonus. And they've done a good job at making this kind of idiot-proof to a certain degree. More locks in there, but really nice closet. You could technically do this closet with a egress window over here versus at the head of the bed. Really hard for me to give up this much closet. Sonali, giving up the closet? No, you're not giving up the closet. So keep that in mind. So lots of storage here. This is basically an AV cabinet. We go ahead and option just as a solid cabinet door. Normally it would be mesh here. Same for above the door would mesh. And aesthetically, I just don't think it looks as good as just a solid cabinet door. Because very seldom are people using DVD players or Atari or anything like that. So we'll flip-flop back to the back bath. I'm not going to step in the rear shower because there's lots of RV antifreeze down on the floor. I don't want to get my socks wet, but they do a good job. It does have what they call the shower miser on board. So essentially recirculate your water until it gets warm, and that little button will go red and let you know you have nice warm water. Great if you're dry camping, trying to conserve water. So all convertible shelving in both of these. Your biggest bottle of mouthwash will easily fit in there, or the biggest bottle of Tresemme shampoo conditioner can easily fit in those guys. We do have a window there, window shade right there, but do something a little bit different here. So normally this would be two doors underneath here. So we go ahead and add the drawers here. I think that's definitely a bonus. I think Shauna Lee would rather have two drawers for the number of hair clips and ties and everything like that she would need. And then she can put her curling iron right back there. Two plugs there. Standard would be one plug, so it's nice to have a plug there. But all in all, I really like the colors. Unfortunately, a lot of the videos and photography, it just looks it looks too gold in here. This is definitely a very gray. The light is not gold. I think that you're actually using like a 3500 K light versus like a 5000 is very brilliant white. It can be blue at times, and so things will look a little bit different. So definitely go through, look at all the pictures, because you'll see different colors at different times. Unfortunately, the iPhone doesn't do a good job at really letting you know what the inside of this coach looks like. So come into the half bath here, do the sit, meet, greet, wave at all the trucks over there. So decent storage here, especially the same bath as the CME we did the other day. So even my big meat hooks, I can get my big meat hooks underneath here and wash my hands. And then a little bit of storage above, little linen closet there. But they've gone through, done more accent light in your cabinets. They've done some accent light in all your slides. They've done a little bit different AC covers as well. Previously this was stained to match. They've just done a single white color. So it'll be the same as AC covers. I think it looks so much better than having to stare at the plastic shroud. And of course we did the optional ceiling fans in place. So all in all, it's, you know, we could go a little bit fancier with the ceiling. They have different medallions. The problem is it will take the place of that. You'll basically cover that up. And I think it's important to have a max air fan in your kitchen to be able to turn over your air if you're doing any kind of cooking, things like that. Unfortunately, even though the microwave is vented out, you just can't turn over your air fast enough. Big deal if you're cooking any kind of cruciferous vegetable or doing some bacon, something like that, where it gets a little stinky. So I think it's a huge deal having that. I couldn't imagine ordering a coach without that. Unfortunately, XLs don't have it. Can't get a max air in an XL. Maybe that's one of my tasks after the first of the year, because we could still put it below like some type of medallion. Just have to kind of bring it down, get some air, toss it around. Put that on my to-do list. So like I said, this coach is sold. If you're watching it now, we appreciate you following us all the way through the video. We'll have the twin to this, I think, in March. We're gonna do the exact twin, same color, inside and out. If you want it, you need to give us a call, stat. I think that coach will probably sell before, most of our coaches do sell before they actually get produced. But if you want to make any changes to it, if you need a CMR, as long as you're willing to deal with this floor plan, we can make some mild little changes. So keep that in mind. Always appreciate you guys watching these videos. Check them out. Check us out online at pmcrv.com. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.